Hello again, and welcome to the second part of my Maya 2010 render passes tutorial. So in the part one, what we did is to build and model our simple rendering test scene called a cornel box. And in this part, what we're going to do is apply shaders to our scene so we can start rendering. So what I'm going to do is simply use, the regular native Maya shaders, simply because they're perfectly compatible with Mentor, and just for simplicity's sakes. Alright, so we're going to start by shading our torus. And on this guy, what I want is a very reflective shader and also some refractive transparency, so it looks transparent but quite thick. And that way we're going to be able to shoot caustics out of it and make the scene a little more interesting. So let's start. I'm going to use the shelf shortcuts simply because the shaders we want are all there, and why not? So on this guy, I want a very crisp specular, so I'm going to go ahead with a Fong. Alright, there we go. And the color is, free to you. You can do anything you want. I'll go with a little bit of some kind of green, yellowish. Alright. Now, I'm going to put the specularity very high. Well, quite high. Some kind of 85. So it's a very, very sharp specular. And let's crank it up a little bit in the color. The reflectivity here, I want quite high. So 0.9 would be a good starting point. Alright, for now, that's it. We have just a Fong shader on our torus. Now let's apply the same shader to our two cubes. So I'm going to select both. And here I'm going to use a blend shader. Okay. The color, I will put white, because I want those guys to be able to receive all the photons that we're going to shoot later on from our light. So they're going to receive some bouncing around, and white will help us to visualize that. Okay, so the eccentricity of our shader I want a little bit big, and that's, I want to smooth it down a little bit. I'll leave the specular color how it is. Just make it a little wider. Okay, no reflectivity at all. Let's turn it off. And we're done. So those two are ready to be rendered as well. Alright. Now I want to apply two more shaders to our scene, and it's simply on the two sides of our room to create that bouncing color bleeding light effect. So what we're going to do is go in face mode and select that left face, and let's apply another blend shader. Okay, and in the color I'm going to pick some kind of warm orange, a little more red, a little brighter. Okay, that kind of burnt orange color looks good to me. You can do, whatever you want. You're free. Alright, let's accept that. And what I want is some kind of very matte satin finish, like a satin paint. So I'm going to make my specular eccentricity quite big and tone it down. Okay, and turn the reflectivity all the way down. Alright, so I want it to look almost matte. That's good. Okay, now let's pick the right side of our room and apply another blend. This time I'm gonna go into a cool color like this, and the eccentricity, basically the specular roughness of our shader, I want it really, really small. We're almost mimicking a Fong shader right now, and put it very high. Alright, so that's basically looking like a Fong, but slightly more blurred or softer. And the reflectivity I want very, very high, like 0.95, or you could put 1, because we're going to do some Mentare rendering effects on it, like reflective blur, so the reflectivity won't look as strong as it is right now. Okay, we're done with the basic shading of our room. Now let's look into lighting. No lighting. That way we can see the colors of our objects. Alright, I'm happy with that. So let's bring a render window and do one first render. Okay, as you can see, we have some results already. So there's a strong reflectivity on this side here, on the right side, the blue. There's nothing, and you know, the specularity we added to this wall here makes it almost matte, but you can feel a little bit of specularity on it, and that's great. Now we're missing one attribute on our torus. It's not transparent at all. That's okay, we'll fix that. So we'll pick our torus, go on to the shader, the Fonk shader we created, and let's add some transparency. I'll go, you know, maybe 1/3 of the way. Okay, let's try to render that again. Perfect. So now we have our torus that's transparent. It's not refractive yet, but we get some results. So let's put some refraction in there. So in the once again the shader tab, let's go to the ray trace options, and here add some refraction to it. I'm going to put it for now very high so we see a dramatic change, so 1.75, and let's render again. Okay, so now our object looks very thick, very dense, and that's what we want. So now we have a regular shader on the basic of our room. Our two different shaders on each side. One is warm red, no reflectivity and small specularity. The second one on the right side is blue with high reflectivity and a lot of specularity. Our two basic white objects in the front, and our transparent torus with high reflectivity and refraction. So we're done with the shading. It was very simple. The purpose of this is really a rendering tutorial, so let's go ahead and meet in part 3, where we're going to start lighting, adding some really interesting rendering attributes to our scene, and start slowly optimizing everything so we can have some decent render times. And then in part 4, we're going to start doing the real stuff, which is splitting our image and do render passes. Alright, thank you guys, and I'll see you soon with part 3, lighting and rendering.